Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm very excited to be here talking to you about today's topic, which is all about myths, busting through myths about planning, about why I believe you should be doing it in your business, and also about why I believe that this is actually, let's cut through the BS. I actually believe that planning for your business is like the number one priority that you need to have in your business if you want more profits, more growth, and you want to be leveraging like your results and your time as well. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you're watching the replay, I always see your comments. So anybody watching this back and replay who's got anything that they'd like to add, any story of their own about planning, anything that's resonating with you, just treat it as if this was alive. So, anybody who's watching the replay, you're very welcome, but please just carry on engaging with the posts. I do see them and I do respond to them as well. So as you come on, come say hi. As always with my lives, I want to make them as engaged as possible. This isn't a talking shop just for me to be stood on my soapbox kind of sprouting out everything that I believe. We will get a much better conversation when it's a two-way thing. So Louise is here. Hi Louise, lovely to see you here. Absolutely fantastic to see you join me. Louise came along to my live event last Thursday. She's one of my clients. It was absolutely awesome to actually meet, and so did Amy. Lovely to see you here. And a lot of what we talked about last week at the live event was planning. And I did a live over my free Facebook group, Live Your Abundant Life, yesterday, where we were talking about planning. And I really got very excited about this subject, mainly because of the group discussions that we ended up having last Thursday at the live event. And it really got me thinking that actually there's a lot of there are a lot of myths out there that I think stop women from using planning in their business. And I thought, right, let's have like a really juicy live today here on my page, talking about what I believe the myths are about planning, busting through them and giving you a fresh perspective on planning, and hopefully igniting some desire to go out there and plan. So I know from some of the ladies who are here now, because I worked with them on Thursday, is that I know that they are either planners, or they certainly are now after Thursday's event. But what I'd love to hear from the people who are joining me live and the people on the replay actually is, whereabouts are you with planning? Do you do it? Are you maybe part of a membership group? This is what I think happens, is that people kind of understand that planning is important, but it might feel difficult. Sometimes it feels difficult to do it on your own. So I think that what happens is that people have really great intentions. So they might have access to resources about planning, but they don't actually utilize them. So I'm just thinking that, we're all probably part of various different membership groups, and there will be content in there about planning and goal setting and target setting and all of those things, and maybe KPIs and all of that juicy stuff. But people do very rarely actually use the planning tools that are available. And we're going to be talking about the reasons why that is. So hopefully you've got some access to planning tools, and following this discussion today, it will kind of inspire you to go and think about your own planning. But equally, if you're thinking, well, actually, I have access to all of those resources, I am not going to actually take them forward. I know that I'm going to come off with every great intention to this live and think, yes, I'm going to do some planning, then I'm actually not going to do it. And if that is the case, I've got a really juicy offer for you as well. Morning, Judith, lovely to see you here. So planning, let's talk about what I mean by planning in the first instance. Is that I, in a previous life, many moons ago, I was originally a project manager, and then I was a program manager, and that's basically managing projects to the point of delivery. So that is obviously all about having a plan. And it's often the things that we know really well is that when we actually come to running our own businesses, that actually we move away from bringing those tools and those resources, that knowledge into our own business because it doesn't feel as if it's a good fit. And I'm all about, kind of, if you've been watching my content for a while, I've been following me for a little while, you will know that I am all about, kind of sharing strategies and ideas about what you can do in your business, but it's all about taking what resonates with you and ensuring that you adapt it to how you are and what you do. So anything I share today, these are just ideas for you that you can take forward in a way that works for you. So planning for me is crucial. Let's talk about what happens when you're not planning. So what happens when you're not planning is that you rock up into your workspace, like this is my office, and you get stuck into your work. You might have a to-do list, you might have some vague idea about what you're working on, but basically you've probably got a limited period of time, like I have. Every day I've got about 5 to 6 hours to work in the days that I choose to work like a full working day. And I could rock up here, could have a vague idea of what I was doing, and I could spend the next kind of 5 or 6 hours working really, really hard, most definitely. And then I'd get to the end of the week, that would be the end of the week, and then another week would roll on. And we can do that. We can fill our days with stuff. We can be super, super busy with stuff. But actually, whether those are the right things comes down to the results that you're generating in your business. So let me know if this is resonating with you. Give me some hearts, thumbs ups if this is kind of the information that you wanted to hear. So that is like one way to run your business. And I wrote a post about this, didn't I, on Monday, and it really resonated with you guys. And I said, really, this is what we call winging it. This is where you haven't really got a whole load of clarity about what your business is, how you're moving it forward. You just know that you've been told that you've got to be visible, you've got to be consistent. Social media is a great place to find your clients, and that's basically it. So you just rock up without proper planning, without proper clue of how you go this. Yeah, Judith, and as always, I am not standing on a soapbox here and saying that this is perfect. I've already shared with you that in my previous career, planning was a really big part of it, but there was a part of me that really fought against bringing planning into my business. And the other thing is that there's some people out there who would really like you to believe that they don't plan. And we touched on this yesterday in the discussion that I was having in my group, Live Your Abundant Life. But let's just have a look at the other scenario. The other scenario is where you come into your business, you come in and you have clarity. You have clarity about who you are in business, what your big mission is, what your big vision is for you, your business and your life, basically. And you have clarity about how you're going to move your business forward. You understand, how to use your visibility, whether or not you're using visibility to grow your audience, to connect with your audience, to nurture your audience, or if you're using the visibility to do all of those things, but you're also using those things to sell. So I have definitely flip-flopped between the two, and part of that has been because there are very few people who actually talk about planning. So we talked about this yesterday, and I think there's a real veil almost over planning. So we all see the people who are super successful in our industries. We see them, they go and do these launches, they rack in, a mass amount of clients, and they have a really great time, and it looks awesome, it looks really easy. But there's nowhere in that where they talk about the planning. But believe me that behind every successful business, there is planning. There is planning that happens all the time. And through that planning, that is when you get really brilliant results. You maximize your time. So let's say that you're going into a launch. Now, if you'd planned this launch in advance and you knew you were going to do your launch and you're working towards it, you're basically putting the same effort in as if you decided at the last minute that you're going to launch something and you get into launch mode and it's really done very quickly. So it's kind of the same amount of time, but you're going to get the energy, but you're going to get the better results from having a long planned out approach to your launch, you're going to get better results. You're going to have a more highly engaged audience who warmed up to that launch coming through. So one of the things I kind of understand about planning and why people don't do it, and again, Judith, if you're comfortable with sharing, some of the barriers that you have to planning, that would be awesome. Just so I can ensure that my content today is kind of resonating with you. But basically, I think when we come into business is we have all of this technology available to us. We have the ability to talk to the entire world through doing Facebook Lives like this. So there's a real belief that planning isn't required. And because people don't really talk about their planning, we can really be led to believe that you can generate awesome results in your business by not planning. And the truth of the matter is, as I've just detailed, talk about launches and people in our industries who seem to be leading having awesome results, is that these people plan. They plan right down to the fine detail, and they won't be planning on their own, will they? They'll have like a team of people who'll be supporting them in that, and they'll have their own coaches and mastermind groups that are supporting them to see that plan through. But nobody talks about it. So I think that's one of the myths is, in order to generate success in your business, you do need to have a plan, most definitely. Otherwise, you're way back to the scenario that I was talking about before, where you're actually just winging it. You're coming into your office, coming into your workspace, you're spending all of that time, whatever you've got, and you're just kind of pushing things out there. And it's not about having clarity about how those things are going to bring you the results that you're looking for. Let's just see what Judith says. A very flexible week, out of the office quite a lot, being unclear on the end goal. Yeah, definitely. Yes, Judith, this is absolutely right, isn't it? That we often, like I found this with my mindset, is that I was working with my own clients on mindset, but failing to do it myself. Oh, hi, Jen, lovely to see you here. Yeah, Jen's like totally into the whole kind of planning idea. So people don't think that you need it, that you can wing it through business. And there's very few people who can actually do that. Also, I think for many of us, we are female entrepreneurs, we're very creative. So actually having a plan feels quite constrictive. And, we've really kind of stepped into having freedom and flexibility and choice. So why would we actually tie ourselves into a plan? So people feel it's restrictive. People think that planning's really boring. Like, why would I sit down and plan this out? I just want to wake up in the morning and I'll take inspired action and I'll get into flow and I'll decide what I'm going to do. Okay? There's a way of channeling that better, and I'll talk about that in a little while. The other myth that people have about planning is that they don't think they've got time for planning. I haven't got time, I'm in the business, I'm already busy, I've got all these other things to do. When am I supposed to find time to actually work on my business? And then this is a great one, isn't it? Is that maybe you sit down and you create the time and you have a plan, but you don't stick to it. So they're some of the myths that people have about planning. And what I discovered last Thursday when I ran my live event in York is that I had a room full of amazing women, including Amy and Louise, who are here, is that we had a real mixture of people who were winging it and who were planners. And it was people who are the planners who had clarity. They were conserving their energy. They knew exactly where to put big bursts of energy and when they needed it. And they were moving the business forward really, really easily. And for so many women in that room who perhaps had forgotten or fallen out of love with planning, is that it was all of a sudden they were saying, oh, right, I can see now the point of planning. And then we sat for we worked on their plans for the whole day, and we looked at their visibility and how you could use the visibility, how you can use the visibility to generate more sales in your business, because that's what we're in the game of. And really from that event, the women left and they understood the power of planning. And you can make planning as simple or as complicated as you choose to. The most important thing is that you find a way that works really well for you. And the thing that I love to do with my clients is kind of take them right back to the beginning and get them to really connect with their why. Why are you rocking up in business. This is what I would say to you if you're working with me, is really look at that and then really create like a really, really juicy, gorgeous vision for you, your business, your clients, your life, and really have that deeply rooted within you and really feel that excitement about the possibility that you've got. And then it's looking at planning in 90-day bursts. And there's lots of reasons for doing this. Evidence shows that when you're marketing consistently, it can take up to 3 months for you to get the results that you want. So 90-day bursts are quite nice because you start on day 1 and you get through to, like, let's say day 60, and then the sales start coming in after that. So if you're doing that consistently in your business, you could actually be rolling into your sales all the time. So 90 days also feels very doable, doesn't it? If we were saying let's plan out for the whole of the year, well, do you know what? That is quite restrictive, because we can have that kind of big vision, which kind of more or less stays the same, that we're moving towards that, but our way of getting there changes, because what happens when you have a plan in your business and you're moving forward is that you are evolving as your business evolves as well. So actually that kind of big vision and the path to get there, you will get smarter and faster actually bringing in the results when you plan and when you take action forward in your business consistently. So let me know if this is if you want this. Let me know if you want to be working in 90-day chunks, and for you to understand that you will be getting smarter and smarter and smarter about how your business works and what to do. And this is one of the powerful things about planning, is that when you have a plan, one of the things that you can do when you have a plan is that you can actually review the plan at the end and figure out all the bits that worked really well. Brilliant, do them again, leverage them, up-level them. But you can also identify all the things that didn't work, and that might be like, scrap it, it's a bad idea, get some training, get some support to actually do the other key things that could have helped you really maximize your results. But when you have a plan, you have the ability to really pinpoint the things that are working beautifully so that you can repeat them. You really pinpoint all the mistakes that you make so you don't make them again and you don't waste time. But you have clarity every day, and that means actually in reality you do not need to be on social media every single day, and you do not need to be working like a dog in your business, because you're working smarter. You have clarity, you know what the key steps are. You might even decide to delegate some of those steps out to somebody else. It frees you up to really move things forward. You have focus, so you come in here every day and you know what you're working towards. You have a plan that takes you from where you are to where you want to be, and within that there are sales activities, and anybody who's watching this live or in the replay, if you're not getting into proactive selling, well, that's a whole different conversation for us to have, but I really want to encourage you to do that, because that's how I transformed my business in 2016. I stopped sitting back and waiting for the world to happen. I actually took control, but I think that's a whole different kind of conversation. But planning also stops you from procrastinating, and it helps you to identify, like, if you've got this really big, juicy, awesome goal, and it's like a non-negotiable, that you're actually going to move towards it, but you can see that it's going to be quite a challenge to do it on your own. It helps you be able to identify the support that you need to bring in. So I think gone are the days when people used to just buy programs and boot camps and trainings willy-nilly. It's a much smarter thing to do, to be able to look at your business and identify what your business needs and what your business needs are. And it makes then investing in your business so much easier, because it's like, yeah, I totally need that. I totally know who to go to get better with my copy, or to get smarter with my Facebook ads, or whatever it is that you're looking for. And as I said, when you have a plan in place, you do not need to work like a dog. You have the confidence that the steps that you're moving forward in every day are actually going to be leading you to greater success. Let's have a look. So Louise says, when I didn't plan, I just did things without reason, just threw things out there. Yeah, and it confuses your market. And there's a saying that a confused market never, ever buys. And that's what you need to be thinking about all the time, is taking your audience on a journey of, that you maybe, let's say that you're going to sell something in advance that's about time management. So you warm them up in advance about this. You take them with you, so they're like, oh my god, Louise does not do time management, by the way, but it could be like, oh, Louise is certainly the woman for me to help me with this. And then you have your audience who are ready to buy from you. So actually having a plan makes selling so much easier. Judith says, yeah, having tons of ideas, not sticking to one, but constantly change the focus. It's exhausting, Judith, isn't it? We're very creative people. We're around other creative people's, our minds are going 10 to the dozen. And we really do need to be able to pinpoint what ideas are going to move forward and how you're going to do that and stick to it, as you know, as long as that's the right decision for you and that you're in full alignment with it. It's like, trust your gut and, you know, plan it out and go for it. Jen says, I really enjoy planning, get a bit stuck on the how. Yeah, loads of people do. How many people like plan and then kind of look at the plan and go, oh, I can't do that, and then scale the plan back? Amy said it was great. Yeah, Thursday was great. I'm making progress on her plans. Yay, well done. Louise says, love 90 days. Hi, Amy, lovely to see you here. I usually plan in 3 months. Yes, I struggle with 3 months in advance. So yeah, lots of, so there's a real mixture here. There's a mixture of people saying, yes, I need this. There's a mixture of people saying, I'm doing this and it works really well. So hopefully if you're not currently a planner or you're not a consistent planner, you are getting some confirmation from us that actually planning does work. And I don't know about you, but I always think about our heads being like the storage on your phone, isn't it? So in my head, I'm storing things about myself, about my family, about the home, about like plans, like holidays, weekends, whatever, my business, my friends, you know, all of those things are contained in my head. And if you think about your head being like your phone storage, it's like that you've only got so much. And unfortunately, you can't really go and get an upgrade on your head storage. You've got what you've got, and actually having a plan that makes sure that you don't get to the end of 3 months and think, oh god, I was going to do so and so, or get like lost halfway through it all because you've made it really complicated. So think about your head being like your phone storage. You've only got so much, and it's much better if you can actually take some of that planning out that's maybe in your head and actually put it down somewhere, paper, whatever, however you decide to do it. And with that, what that allows is that when you've released some of your storage in your head, is that your head can do what it's actually meant to do, which is help you overcome problems and challenges. And it also allows your head to be very creative because you've freed that up. So planning, I think we've dispelled some myths, and I think we have managed to crack the kind of whole why it is a massive priority for your business. There's that lovely saying, isn't it? It's like fail to plan, plan to fail. And I think that's absolutely true. And yes, you don't see people talking about planning, but everybody who's successful plans. And, you know, you can plan to high detail, you can plan like light detail. It's entirely up to you. Now, the event that we had on Thursday was excellent. It was really well received. The content was amazing, but I understand that not everybody can come to a live event. You know, we've got families, we've got work commitments, we've got travel arrangements. It can be really tricky to actually get to a live event. And I wouldn't ordinarily do this, but when I was promoting my live event, when I was talking about planning, it really struck me at how important this is and how very few female entrepreneurs are doing it, and how many are like keeping the fingers crossed and doing a bit of this and hoping that everything falls together. And it will to some degree, but you could have a whole way more progress and success if you actually took some time out to plan. And this is exactly what I have created. I've created, oh, that is totally not what I should have been sharing. So I need to delete that. Oh dear me. Yeah, I'll delete that as somebody's video. Right, I'll pick that link up in a minute. But just to let you know that what I've decided to do is to rerun the event that I did live on Thursday. So I'm running a virtual workshop on Thursday the 8th of November for 3 hours, where I will support you to get really clear about your next 90-day plan. We'll be looking at your visibility, and we'll be connecting that to how you can leverage it on your sales. So this is, it's everything I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. It's everything I talked about on Thursday. And it's going to be fully recorded. I mean, best if you can, if you want to do this and you want to come live, but it's going to be fully recorded so you can watch all your best bits again. And this is going to be something that will help you to get really good at planning. So like every time you think, oh, I need to do some planning, get back into it. And I'm making it super affordable. It's £97 for the full workshop, workbook, and all the support that you'll get. And there's a payment plan in place, so you can split the payments over the 2 months. So you can split it over November and October. And when you buy before Monday, I will gift you a 90-day mastermind call where we will get together as a group of people 2 weeks after the 8th, and we'll actually mastermind around like the plan. And the idea with that is your plan. So the idea with that is you would have had 2 weeks to go away with your plan, to implement it, to come up with the challenges, and you can then kind of come to this mastermind group. You can be supported, get accountability. Judith's saying that she'd love to do it, but she's got commitments that morning. Judith, it's recorded, so you don't need to arrive live. It's great if you can. And again, as I said, when you buy it before Monday, you then get this mastermind call, and I'll basically plan that in around when people are available, so everybody will get access to that. So it's a 90-minute call where you come with your stuff, where you can say, this has been working really well for me, this is what my challenges are, and we'll mastermind as a group around that, so that you are fully supported to actually implement your offer, because that is actually one of the most important things, isn't it? It's all very well having a plan, but one of the most important things is that you can actually go away and implement it and get the thing. So if you think that's something that you'd be interested in, I'm just picking the link up for you now. But this is powerful work. And if you like Judith, where you're saying, this is something I need to do, but I'm not doing it, I've got to say that this is your opportunity to do it. Oh, thanks, Amy. Thank you so much. So that is the right link where you've got the full details about it. I want to make it as accessible and as affordable as possible. And I'm chucking that bonus in as well, because, I want you to get these results. I want you coming back to me and saying, my business has changed. It's got easier. It's got more successful. I've built in greater growth because of what we did and the content that we shared on Thursday. There were so many light bulbs going off around the table, even for people who were planners. And I think the important thing with all of this is whether you decide to come work with me on the 8th or not, is actually, if you're not currently planning in your business, is to carve out that time in your schedule and actually make this happen for you and your business. So, planning. Any questions about anything that I've shared today about planning, about the workshop, or if I need to convince you even more to plan? And I'll just say that, to ensure that you know that I'm a human being, is to say that, this year, because I got kind of sidetracked at the beginning of the year with my planning. I had a plan, and then it was all it didn't really kind of work out, and I kind of went off track kind of Easter time with my plan, and I didn't sit down and plan properly. And what happened is that I released a product, I went into full launch mode, and I pulled it because it was the wrong thing at the wrong time. And that comes down to planning, and that was a whole wasted 4 weeks. And that's quite a lot, isn't it? That's 4 weeks where I could have been generating more sales and more growth within my business. But because I failed to plan sufficiently, I actually lost out, not just in time and energy, but I lost out in sales as well. So that is a true life story of how, even people who, who have a successful business, because I failed to plan, I managed to mess up all of that 4 weeks as well. So any questions about anything I've shared? If you're watching the replay back, please make sure that you get your questions answered as well. I am here to help and support you. Yes, I'm here to tell you about the workshop, but really sharing some useful content here about planning and the power of it. And if you just joined me now and you're wondering, oh, I need to know about planning, just watch the replay back. I'm going to try and end it in the next kind of a couple of seconds because I like to keep them to about 30 minutes. But yeah, planning is absolutely crucial for you and your business. Life will be so much easier when you actually create the time, make the time, or come and work with me and plan your next 90 days. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for being here today, for joining in the conversations and the discussions, and for your time today. Have a really great Wednesday. Bye for now.